Good morning, good evening, everyone. This is Luda Kopikina with GAI Insights. Welcome to Daily AI News Review, where we rate articles essential, important, and optional, pointing you to the most important trends that are happening in the AI world. The articles that we review are always at gaiinsights.com/articles. Today, I have Ankash, Adam, and soon John. So he has been delayed, but should be joining shortly. We're going to go over 6 articles. Please comment, tell us what you think. And if you don't agree, please let us know. All right. So let's go with the first article, Ankash.
Sure, thanks, Luda. So the first one that we have for today comes from MIT, and it talks about using GenAI, how researchers are designing compounds that can kill drug-resistant bacteria.
Yeah, very interesting, real results. What did you think about this, Adam?
Boy, look, I hear us all often talking about everyday miracles, but this is truly, to one of the biggest issues we have probably in modern medicine is that we don't have antibiotics for things like MRSA. And the fact that they've used generative AI to not only come up with one, but by creating literally tens of millions of compounds and then testing them within this AI, but the fact that the solution they came up with is actually novel and it works with a mechanism that hasn't been used before is incredible and offers so much promise in terms of other things that we just don't even understand the significance of. And all that being said, is an AI leader maybe going to take a trip to a slightly riskier, dirtier place in the world because they don't have to worry about MRSA so much? Or, I'm not sure quite what they would do with this news, other than perhaps important just to flag as the awareness of the profound impact that AI is having. But generally, unbelievably, I'd consider this optional news.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like, what do you do with this? But it is a showcase. It is a real impact for humanity, and it's actually the case of AI doing something really, really impressive. What did you think about this, John?
Yeah, I was going to give it more of an important because I think we're starting to see a new category of examples that are exemplars of completely new business models, business strategies, and business approaches. And Peter Drucker once said or wrote, the essence of the knowledge economy is compared to the industrial economy before was the idea that you get insights and innovations from industries that are not your own. So he claimed, before the steel industry would invent for steel and auto industry would invent for autos. And in the knowledge economy, which he pegged about the late 70s, early 80s, it was different. I think same thing here. We're going to start to see new business models. So I think it's incumbent upon AI leaders in the important category, not essential, to understand what are some new models that are coming up. And I think that the model that is here could be extrapolated to certainly science-based industries and probably other services and financial services and so forth. So I was going to give it an important.
Okay, so important from John. Ankash, where were you on this one?
I was important as well, Luda, on this one for the reasons that John mentioned.
Okay. Well, going important, even though I was kind of optional because I agree with Adam but it is such a profound case. Important.
Yeah. Let me start up and make the case for essential. So this is an article that I think all AI leaders need to know because it shows the new knowledge AI is creating. Most of what I see in executives, they think about AI as an automation tool. It's automating existing processes, and us monkey brains all have all the knowledge here. The AI brains can't find blinding new insights into customer segmentation at Fidelity, for instance. We've got to have the carbon-based forms do that. And I think this is a good walking around point that new knowledge is discovered by this in ways that heretofore we haven't seen. So that's my case for essential.
Okay, we have a case for essential. Adam?
I'm convinced.
I'm convinced.
Yeah, I mean, I was optional to important, so I would go important, but I wouldn't argue it.
Okay.
It is.
All right.
It's pretty
So-
huge. It's huge.
I can support essential. Paul, I just want to say, I am not a monkey brain. I am a chimpanzee brain. So I just want.
I was obviously not you, John.
I'm a gorilla brain. You know, IQ per pound of gorilla is not so good. Chimpanzees, yes.
Okay, important it is. Let's proceed.
Well, and John, I'm going back to that call we had with, I don't want to use a name, but that vendor that has a large auto company that we're doing the digital twins, and we're absolutely getting profound insights into customer behavior in a much shorter period of time. And that to me is new knowledge. And that's different than saying, let's automate our customer service sales rep process a little more.
Yes. No, that's Paul, you have a great point. The reason I'm still with important is because we have seen these cases before.
Mm-hmm.
We've sent this message before. So it is an important message, but yeah, I'm not sure it's sticking yet. Okay, let's proceed.
Okay, yes. So the next one comes from Nathan Lambert and Florian Brand, and they have ranked the Chinese open model builders.
Yeah, I think it is assigned to me. Yes. So what this is actually, not only that they ranked, they're monitoring these models, and they have a compendium that they are updating with the performance statistics and what's happening in the models for the in China. So this is essentially captures the ranking. So there are two top models, DeepSeek and Quen, like we've reviewed them. We also reviewed the Kimi and GLM from Moonshot and GLM 4.5 from Zippo or Z.ai. And then there are a whole bunch, like Step 3, I wasn't aware of Step 5 from Step 5. There's Tencent, there is Red Note, there is Minimax. So it's the number, the sheer number and the performance level of this model, it's quite stunning. So I was optional to important on this one. It's good to monitor, but other ways I think it might be optional. What did you think about this, John?
Yeah, I was going to make the case for essential because I think that the AI leaders that we're talking to, I don't think are aware of just how dominant the Chinese models are in open source. And this, I agree with you. We've reviewed individual ones that we've given them importance before. What I liked about this is it went a little deeper into the supply base, if you will. This is a battle of the titans in terms of U.S. versus China. And China, I think, doing a very interesting strategy here. So I was going to go essential.
Okay, Adam, what did you think?
I was actually essential as well. I think into the tail end of last week, we put a really strong emphasis on the approach, I guess, or the concept that AI leaders really need to be exploring with regards to multi-model and paying attention to these Chinese models seriously. And this is not only a great look at the landscape, but heavily reinforces like how many serious competitors there are and how quickly all of them are going to grow. There are maybe 2 or 3 serious competitors at the top in the US that it's just like the sheer volume of competition is really illustrated by this article. And I think it's essential that they understand that message as well as use this as a primer to a degree to get a better understanding of the landscape.
This is a good point. And like they talk about the DeepSeek releasing upgrades every month and getting better and better. So it's and it's open source. So absolutely. Okay, yeah, I can be convinced into essential. Paul, what did you think?
The last 2 weeks, one of the rabbit holes that I found myself in is going down to TikTok, watching all these Americans living in China, walking around with their cell phones, just saying how amazing. And these are in non-main cities, second tier 2 and 3 cities. And it really is amazing when you look at the modern stuff, which is not where the average executive is in my thing. Second is I'm reading an article today talking about the secondary offering at OpenAI is going to now lie $9 billion more of cash payments to employees. So we've got people taking $9 billion out in the closed market leader and going against 15 to 20 just hyper competitive ones at 9% cheaper here. So totally agree on essential, because it's a good summary and because the AI leader needs to be more aware of this.
Okay, and Vivek obviously agrees with you here, so let's give it.
Where are you, Ankash, on this one?
Oh, Ankash, what did you think? Right, you looked at all the models. What did you think?
Yeah, essential for me as well, Uda. I think it's important for RAI leaders to understand how they can use these Chinese models. I think we reviewed 2-3 articles in the past 2 weeks on how different companies are using these Chinese models. From that perspective, it provides a ready-made compendium that, okay, they can look at these models and which are the top ones, which are the good ones. So yeah, essential read.
Yeah, the the other thing I'm reminded of, the category, one of the categories of cheese I really love is semi-soft. And you want to talk about global, political power. This is like semi-hard, if you will. I think that I know in the current Trump administration's AI plan, there's some discussion about open models, but there's really not a strong commitment. What seems to be a strong commitment is to create taxes for access to markets. Like what he did with NVIDIA, and he's talking about doing with AMD, or they are talking about doing with AMD. I think the Chinese are being much more thoughtful here. If you really want to, when I say soft to hard power, it's because it's soft until they decide to use it. You know what I mean? And this is very, very important. And I think I feel bad as an American because I don't think we're putting enough emphasis on this in terms of. And we have in the past. When you look at telecommunications, you look at previous software, everything from mainframe software all the way down to the PC. The symbiosis of American soft power and American technology was very deep. Yeah. It's not here.
And I think that's the article we liked last week from Menlo Ventures, which was saying that open source was plateauing usage of enterprise. I think we would disagree with that being a long-term trend.
Yeah, and this particular article talks about Qwen and how powerful it is and how ease of use in their case, actually the numbers of the usage goes up dramatically. Okay, essential it is. Let's proceed to the next one, Ankash.
Okay, the next one talks about doom prompting, whether it is the new doom scrolling.
Yes, a thought piece reflecting on how we interface with bots. John, what did you think about this one?
I was I just got into the important category with it because I think it it raises some important notions of what role the machine plays. So this whole notion of doom dialogue, if you will, or doom prompting. Yes, you can have a false sense of capability and a false sense of understanding. I think that she puts a very nice description of, or she quotes the person who says, it's middle to middle, right? That robots don't help you with the front, don't help you with the back. And I was going to give this thing an optional until she started to talk about the new evolution of what roles and kinds of dialogue that the machines can create and will create. And I think, demanding AI systems, like the tutoring and so forth, explain, prove to me, John, that you understand, particle physics or whatever, right? And I think that's thoughtful. There's a certain part, as somebody who did a lot of education, there's an old saying in academia: students are the only customers that want less for their money. The laziness of students and the need to push people to bring the best out of themselves, I think, is always true. But I do agree that this particular set of models is you have to be more mindful. So I was thinking important.
Okay, important rating from John. What did you think about this, Adam?
Yeah, I could support important as well. Not essential. It's a bit of a long read. I wouldn't want someone to have to sort of divert themselves to get to it. But she offers some insights, and it's real plain speak. Like it's really easy to understand the messages that she's getting across. So it's worth a look.
Worth a read. Okay, Ankash.
Important for me, Luda. I think more and more as I'm using GPT-5, I think I'm doom prompting a lot with it because while the model is selecting the underlying model which I should use, the results that I am not getting are not up to the mark. So I need to remind it again and again that, okay, uh, you need to do a better job at it. So I think we might see a lot more problems related to doom prompting going forward.
It's an interesting term, isn't it? Paul, we're going important on this one. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I'm important. And Ankash, do you think that's because of the prompting skills changing, or that it's more of an open AI's back of the house efforts to get their costs down, so keep pushing more and more of the prompts to the cheaper models?
I think somewhere it's a mix of both, Paul. I think they are trying to make their model router better based on our queries. But somewhere it also feels like it was mentioned in the semi-analysis article as well that they are trying to optimize cost on their end as well. But they now have given access to all the different models that we earlier had, so that makes our life a bit easier. But yeah, still, if it continues in this vein and other model providers also go for this, then I think doom prompting will be an issue.
Yeah. But she captures one of the things about sort of like steps back and looks at the interactions and how much of the savings and additional creativity bots provide versus eating the time when you are trying to get the machine to tell you what you want. So it's an interesting balance that, and I think she captures it very well. Okay, important it is. Let's proceed then.
Okay, the next one is a research paper, which is a UI Venus technical report building high performance UI agents with RFT.
Yeah, I think it was me. Yeah, it was me. So it comes from Ant Group, and this is a division of Alibaba, and it is focused on mobile payment platforms. So was a big investment in AI platforms, and this is where this research is coming from. So this one is focused on user interface and trying to optimize it for being grounded and also navigation performance. So they propose a framework of self-evolving navigation performance improvement, and also how to ground, so clean up the data, how to ground the UI agents. So they show quite a bit of improvement in UI agents and state of the art, as you can see in the graph. But really, I think it's optional for the general reader. So what did you think, Adam?
Same. It's just pushing the edge in a really interesting space, but it's not. I'd say so much groundbreaking is just sort of continued evolution in something that's too niche and research focused to really have an impact on the AI leader.
Okay, John?
Yeah, optional. I do think it's worth noting the Chinese seem to be doing a lot on a set of themes. One, obviously the models, open source, mobile, screen scraping, right, as a capability. And then I think compound reasoning. I've been using the Chinese product Manus, which basically gives you a quick consulting study in a heartbeat, much better in terms of creating PowerPoints and so forth than the American model. So it's very interesting to see how, the different components the Chinese are focusing on, but optional.
Okay. Ankash, disagree?
No, Luda, I agree with optional. I think we are seeing different types of agents or evolution of agents, right? So we have Comet, which is a browser-based agent, right? Then we have this particular study here, which talks about agents which can capture your screen and then do work on your behalf. So there have been, I think, 3 or 4 launches in the past month or so of agents which can see you working on your screen, and then they can repeat what you are doing on the screen, and they can then do that for thousands of tasks, right? So this is a good evolution or a good research in evolution of those kind of agents, but yeah, optional for our AI leader right now.
Yeah, but it's interesting that how quickly those research articles we see go into the real products.
Right.
It's absolutely stunning. Like in the article we reviewed about the rating of Chinese model, there's one that was not really, is more research, and they've been putting research articles into the publishing research articles, and then you could see that those algorithm or optimizations were going into the models of their competitors, essentially. So, and the speed is like next month. So it's fascinating. So we'll see this one, but optional. Paul, any disagreement?
No, definitely optional. I think on the Chinese model, though, I think we continue to see speed of ship to benchmarks. I think one thing we'll continue to watch is how many customers actually are seeing that stuff in production here. The other thing I want to just highlight, Akash, you got me thinking about this whole notion that we're moving to a world where the AI co-intelligence is going to be monitoring real time what's going on our screen and real time what's going on in human meetings is really interesting, where we've got this constant monitoring and improvement and unprompted and suggestions improvements is really, I think, a very plausible world that's going to be that we're moving towards the next year.
Oh, that's my vision is there's actually an AI that says, hey, I noticed that's the 3rd time this week you've done that task. Would you like me to automate it for you? Right?
Not only that, Adam, think about the show. Say, Adam, that's a great thing. Don't forget, 2 weeks ago, you also mentioned this article.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
the notion of persistent memory and agency, on the good side is your guardian angel. On the bad side is, Bentham's panopticon, right? Everything's being watched all the time from every angle.
This is so exciting, and now we can actually move towards, Luda, our smart snark meter. Our snark meter is currently at 8 out of 10s, John. This is a new high water mark for you.
Well, not for now, but for I think I have to actually go back and read some of the stuff my son is pointing me to. Again, in Foucault, French philosopher, that talks about the exercise of power in the context of society, and I think we're coming to a new power dynamic as AI agency comes upon us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually very true. The power is shifting. Okay, sounds good. So optional it is. Let's proceed.
Vivek's got a point here, Luda.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Vivek. Yeah, sure. They'd be silly not to, Vivek, given their access to applications, SharePoint, Azure. I mean,
Yeah.
Yes.
Totally. Okay.
We need more open source.
We do need more open source. In the coming back, we didn't mention it, but in the Chinese article, there was a graphic that talked about how many people are involved in releases, and Llama had a huge number versus the other ones were like half less. Interesting point. So we need to learn how to release. Yeah, here we go. We release models with less impact. So Google was okay in the middle.
This is downloads, I bet, right? Oh no, contributors. Oh, actually, even better, contributors, right?
This is number of people involved in getting something to release. So quite a bit in Llama. And if they're $1 million per year people, or a couple of million per person, that's quite expensive. Okay, let's proceed to the last one, Ankash.
Okay, the next one that we have is a case study from Anthropic, which talks about how Charm Industrial accelerated carbon removal operations with Claude.
Yes, Ankash, if you could walk us through this and tell us what you think, please.
Yep. So Luda, this one talks about this company, Charm Industrial, which helps in carbon removal and how sort of Claude helped them with it. So basically, Claude helped them with carbon removal credits and optimizing them. And this is an optional case study, I would say, because there's not a lot of detail here about how they did that and not on the impact of it as well.
Yeah, so optional from Ankash. What did you think, John?
Yeah, I thought optional. Claude should turn around and use its own model to write its own case studies. Who do their job.
Yeah, it's more promotional for Sierra, I think, as an article here. Okay, so optional, Adam?
Yeah, I was super disappointed right up front when it says they had a reduced verification time from 3 to 6 months to just days. I was really excited to see this use case, and they just go into absolutely zero detail. It was quite disappointing.
Very promotional. Okay, we're going optional. Paul, disagree? Optional.
Agreed.
Okay, optional it is. So, Ankash, as you prepare the scorecard here,
Luda, we have one left.
we have one left. Which one?
Yes, the
Ramp.
Sierra one.
It's on ramp. Ramp, the
ramp one,
The
ramp
ramp
and Sierra.
one. Okay.
Right?
Yes. Okay. Let's proceed. Yeah, to that one. Sorry.
Yeah. Right. So the last one that we have for today comes from Ramp, and it talks about how Ramp employs its engineering mindset to customer experience.
Yeah, I'm very sorry. Adam, do you want to introduce this one?
Sure. Yeah, happy to. So this one's right down there with that last one from Anthropic in terms of being really disappointing. This is basically a big commercial saying use Sierra, and you'll be able to do cool things like Ramp did. And Ramp is cool too, so use them. But goes into absolutely no detail of how they've done what they've done, and yeah, it was pretty disappointing. It's optional kind of commercial, basically.
Yeah, I mixed up those two articles. I thought we were talking about this last one when we were talking about the previous one. Apologies. So, John, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, optional. I do think it's really interesting to see something like Ramp. It's a heck of a company. They're doing a great job as far as I can tell. This notion of taking mandatory processes like controlling your cache and then building intelligence on those mandatory processes. I think a lot of people are going to do that, and it's going to be very, very interesting. I'm so optimistic about how innovative our economy is going to be.
That's great. Ankash, anything to add here?
No, Luda, optional as well from me. The only thing, I think Sierra was started by Brett Taylor, who is the chairman of board of OpenAI, and also at a high position at Salesforce as well. So I think he sees opportunity in the agentic AI space, and Sierra is especially focused on customer service and support, which we have seen is the highest adopted use case of GenAI till now, right? So I think an important area, and Sierra might be an important company in this space in the next 6 to 12 months. So maybe just keep track on Sierra, but optional case study as such.
Yeah, okay. I would say it's the second after coding.
Correct.
That customer service is number 2 after coding.
Right, John.
Right, and it seems like they built an environment and the infrastructure to really pick up from the customer with not much trouble. So this is a ease of transfer, ease of use is a very big feature. Okay, so let's proceed with optional. And as Ankash, you compile the scorecard, any announcements, Paul, John?
I've got 4 quick ones. Noon, August 28th Eastern, we're having a webinar on our buyer's guide that Akash and others led. So check that out. We have 2 2x2s, which are different than Gartner's, and really proud of what we've uncovered there and the feedback. Second is GAI World, now 6 weeks away, really picking up ticket sales and activity and excitement. So it's really going to be a fantastic show. And Adam flying in from Australia, and Akash is flying in from India, and really excited for that. Third, I want to highlight, we've had a lot more interest in customers asking us to help them training on secure co-pilots. And one of the interesting things I'm seeing, Adam, in the last 2 or 3 calls, both companies are supporting both. They're saying our job is to support the knowledge workers and the tool they prefer. And because costs are so high, we're not going to get one size fits all. We're going to treat it more like Monday.com or Trello or something else, which I think is a very interesting approach, which we haven't seen last year. And then lastly, tonight in Learning Lab, I'm super excited. So Chase Williams, senior in high school, just started his senior year, is going to present how he worked with us this summer as intern and integrated HubSpot with Zoom using N8N. So a great example of high school kids jumping in and adding real value. So join us tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern on our Learning Lab.
Great. Thank you, Paul. So for today, we have 1 essential, 2 important, and the rest were optional. So thank you all very much. Thank you, Valda, Vivek, for commenting. We appreciate it very much, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.